Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trek on Tuesday. It is not underselling it to say it's going to be a very exciting show. We've got something that makes me so happy, which is actually having Real Scouts youth on camera with us today. Aaron's going to introduce them in a second. But if you've ever wondered, or if you're a new family to scouting, or maybe you have been around for a long time and you've just been ready to ask and you've heard about venturing, you want to know what it is, why do youth join it, what do they do? We have all the answers today, right, Aaron?
Yeah, this is the show for youth. Venturing is such a cool program. It's a part of the Boy Scouts of America. We're going to learn all about, what venturing does, who it's for, how you sign up, what's it all about. And what, like you said, what's really exciting about our show today is our guests. We are joined today by four of the youth leaders of the National Venturing Program. Like a lot of scouting programs, there are youth representatives who are involved in the leadership decisions that go behind a lot of really important, questions, right, about the program. And we're joined today by four members of we call it the NVOA, the National Venturing Officers Association. Let's bring on real quick behind the scenes, Brian, if we could. We're joined today by Jamie, Andrea, Jacob, and Hannah. We're going to let them each introduce themselves and talk a little bit about.
Hi.
Doing good.
Excellent.
We are so honored to be joined by you all today. Maybe, Gene, if it's okay, I'll just start off with the first question right away for Andrea. Why don't you, Andrea, give us kind of a summary. What is venturing?
Oh, I love this question. Okay, so venturing is a co-ed, youth-led high adventure program for youth ages 14 up until the day they turn, right before they turn 21, so 14 to 20. And biggest point of emphasis here is that it's completely co-ed. So our units, our crews are completely co-ed, but they're also completely youth-led, which gives a great opportunity for all these youth to get involved in great leadership positions, all the way from the unit level to the national level, of course, in collaboration with a great group of advisors. So that's pretty much venturing. It's also a high adventure program. So, let your imagination run wild and just, there's a lot of fun opportunities.
So cool. Yeah, I feel like, I don't want to say more than any other program, but venturing is so quintessentially youth-led. I've been lucky enough to be a crew advisor before, and it's just night and day when you kind of compare it with, the role a leader plays in other programs. The youth are truly leading it, and I think that's why it's super exciting we have you guys on. We'll talk about how, that is modeled all the way through venturing with the NVOA. Youth are really making the decisions here. But I also want to give a quick shout out to Troop 38 and Pack 38. Hello, Wendy. Wendy, is any of your troop involved in venturing? I'm curious. Let us know in the comments. And then I'm going to throw this next question to Jamie, because I'm thinking some families out there are like, venturing, how do I get involved? Not really sure what that path looks like. How did you get involved in venturing?
So I started when I was 13 and a half, actually. I had graduated the 8th grade early, which is an option. But one of the nice things about venturing is that it's so marketable that there are units all over the place. So near me, there were units that venturing crews can focus on certain things like just general high adventure or shooting sports or rock climbing. But 13-and-a-half-year-old Jamie was very gung-ho about backpacking. So I joined a crew in California, where I'm from, near San Francisco. And we went backpacking. That's what got me into it in the first place. But the leadership is what got me to stay. So any youth out there interested in the program can look in their council, see what crews are out there already and exist, the things that they do. But also venturing is exceptional in that you can start your own crew. If there's not one around you or not one that's doing the things you want to focus on, then starting a crew is also an option. And that's not a completely crazy process. I've been involved in that as well. My advisor for life, my dad, and I helped start a crew in my local area as well. It's a fun process to build a unit. So there's lots of great options for joining the program for both existing units and starting one up yourself.
So I advise everybody, you can find a crew near you, beascout.org, right? You can go in, type in your zip code, make sure the little venturing box is checked on the side. Like Jamie said, starting a new crew, totally feasible, totally reasonable, not at all like, oh, there's no way I can do that. People do it all the time. Venturing numbers are growing. Gina and I are actually on a call this morning where we heard some positive news about venturing membership as a whole. By the way, Jamie said he joined when he was 13 years old. 13-year-old Jamie, as you guys can see, he's all grown up now. Jamie is now the National VOA president. I just want to make sure we make that clear to everybody. Andrea, who you heard from earlier, make sure I get this right, Andrea, the National VOA Vice President of Territory Support for the Eastern Territories.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Glad to have you on. And my next question is going to be for Jacob. Jacob is the National VOA Vice President of Communication. Jacob, maybe if you could communicate to us real quick, who is allowed to join venturing? I think there's age restrictions, right? Who is venturing open to, Jacob?
Yeah, so venturing is a co-ed program, so it is open to all within the ages of 14, with the exception, as Jamie said, of 13 and completed 8th grade. But we don't see that too much. So 14 is what we generally say. And then all the way up through your 21st birthday, you are considered a youth. We do have, once you turn 18, you're considered a youth plus, but you're still a youth within the program. And get to do all the activities with the youth all the way until you turn 21.
Jacob is definitely the right man for communication. If you are watching today's live stream on any of the venturing channels, you got to give him credit for that. He's making that happen, and he's on live with us. So, I mean, he knows what he does for sure. We've got a lot of cool comments, a lot of crews watching. We've got crew 1151 watching. I saw St. Louis crew 2319, very cool. Heather said crew 27. They're new this year. Very cool, Heather. And then Jamie kind of gave maybe an idea to Wendy. She said, her troop members aren't in a venturing crew, but they've expressed interest. They're younger troops, so they expect more interest as those boys grow older. Sounds like they could definitely start a crew. I've seen that happen a lot of times and had a lot of success. Also want to say, I've got to pack this in. I had a friend who was so cool, went to college together. We were in the same sorority, and then I got a job at Boy Scouts of America. I didn't have a scouting background. And she said, hey, did you know I was in venturing? And I was like, of all the programs you're going to tell me you were in, that's like wild. I kind of thought it was niche at the time. And I was like, how did you get involved? She was like, yeah, I didn't know anything about scouting. I wanted to go hike. I wanted to go to Philmont. It seemed cool. And I was like, that is just like so cool. Like you certainly can approach it that way, but it still comes with the leadership values that I think, are hallmark of the scouting program. So Hannah, I want to ask you, what is venturing kind of equipping you with long-term?
Definitely. That's a great question. So I'm a sophomore in college right now, and going into it, I was amazed of how many venturing things that I learned from venturing that I'm able to apply, whether it be time management skills and communication skills and mentoring skills, being able to be both a follower in those group projects and a leader in those group projects. Definitely equipped me for where I am now and where I hope to be in the future. There's different trainings that you take as you go through the ranks of the venturing program, and those definitely do help you lead the adventure, our motto.
Hannah, just so everybody knows, is the National VOA Vice President of Program. All four of our guests today are members of the National Venturing Officers Association. Maybe we should explain to folks exactly what that means real quick. Jamie, I guess maybe as president, maybe can you explain what the NVOA is?
Yeah, so the NVOA, the National VOA, is sort of the top youth leadership of the program, but we like to model it as an upside-down pyramid, so it looks kind of like that. The NVOA is the smallest part because our job is to support the venturers at the crew level. And we do that by providing resources and training to the territory VOAs, Venturing Officers Associations at the territory level, who then provide leadership to the council VOAs, and it trickles down to the crew level. So it's a big pyramid, and we're sort of we like to call ourselves the bottom because we're the smallest part. But our job is to create resources, provide training, and be the voice of the youth really at the national venturing level, which is an exciting opportunity.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about, where it's like it's really modeled you're saying all the way down, but also all the way up. You know, the youth are part of the decision-making process for venturing. And I think we're going to talk about some of the cool programs and initiatives you guys as NVOA have in the works. I know we're going to get into that. But Andrea, I'm curious, how did you learn about like the NVOA aspect of venturing? And then how did you make it, to the national level as an officer?
Of course. So like we've spoken about before, venturing is incredibly youth-led, right? So the way that I first started off was there was another youth leader in my council who encouraged me to start getting involved. So I started off as a crew vice president. Then I went on to serve as a crew president. I was invited to go help out, like leading a venturing portion of a council event. That's when I started getting super interested. And of course, everyone that we lead with, they're all amazing people. I love saying that the future leaders of tomorrow are like my closest friends today. So as soon as I got involved in like all of this youth leadership, I got super involved and I knew that I wanted to stick with it. And of course, with peer mentorship from other youth, I was a council VOA vice president. Then I was a council president down at the South Florida Council. Then I was NST 16 TVOA president. And then, of course, now I'm serving as the NVOA vice president. So it's been a journey over the past, I want to say 4, maybe 5 years. But what's definitely kept me involved is those other youth, those peer mentors within like youth on top of the advisors. So there's definitely a lot of room for growth. And you just, you have to stick with it.
I was telling you guys before we started our show today that I have come today armed with some trivia for you guys. I'm going to start off. I'm going to throw out a question that I did not tell you I was going to ask. This is a question for Jamie, Andrea, Jacob, and Hannah to see, how well you guys really know each other. One of you guys raises aquatic frogs. That's kind of a hobby that you guys have. Anybody have any guess which one of these folks raises aquatic frogs? Anybody?
That's a really good one. This is super unique.
Andrea might know because she's the one that told me about this. Am I allowed to say it, Hannah? Are you okay if I say Hannah has?
I love my aquatic frogs. It actually started by doing the reptile and amphibian study merit badge, and then they've come with me to college.
That is awesome, and that's actually a great transition, Hannah, because I wanted to ask you about ranks in venturing. There are some things the venturing program has in common with the Scouts BSA program, and there are ranks. The highest rank in venturing, correct me if I'm wrong, Hannah, Summit, and you yourself have earned the rank of Summit. That's awesome. Can you kind of tell me about that and what it takes to do that and how that works?
Sure. So the Summit rank has 4 different kind of tiers and steps that you lead, and each of them, similar to the Scouts BSA program, builds up to the culmination of Summit, or being on the top of the mountain. All of these kind of fall into the ALPS model that we use in venturing: adventure, leadership, personal growth, and service. With adventure, the first thing you have to do for the first rank is you have to go on a trip outside of a crew meeting, and then it builds on until you have planned your own trip, and then you've also mentored someone doing their own trip. There's also many hours of leadership. You have to have leadership positions throughout your journey. You have to do so many hours of service. Whether that be for Discovery, you have to do 24 hours of service, and half of them have to be with the crew. Half of them could be with whoever you would like it to be. And then more service all the way up till the culmination project, similar to an Eagle project. However, there's definitely some differences that we can talk about at another time. But it's a fun process, and it's fun to do kind of both of them at the same time.
It's very cool, like the different achievements and awards that you can that are specific to venturing. I think there's something for everybody in the program. There's room for people who like my friend who just want to hike and go to Philmont. There's room for people who are really into like finding the awards and getting them, and doing things like you know, just all kinds of things. I definitely witnessed that with my crew. Okay, my next question, I'm going to take it back more to the venturing experience. It's for Jacob. Jacob, are you in college?
I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
All you guys are, right?
Yes.
So I think that's a really important distinction. We talked about how, you know, potentially older youth can be in the venturing program. So here's proof. But Jacob, I want to know, how does venturing fit into your college experience? It's unique from, you know, scouts who can pour a lot of time while they're in high school into scouting. But what does it look like when you've got a whole new kind of educational realm to tackle?
Yeah, of course. So scouting as you get into college is, of course, very different, and it's going to be different for every person. For me, I go to Michigan Technological University here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and I'm studying environmental engineering, which is perfectly fitting with my scouting background and going on adventures and stuff. But we've got such a strong focus on outdoors, and there is such a large group of other scouts around here that it's super comforting to be able to find a group of people who used to be in scouts or are still in scouts back in their hometowns and get together to do things. But then we're also in the process of trying to start up new crews at college campuses. That's one of the big initiatives that our membership subcommittee of the venturing committee is doing, and we're working on trying to get our colleges across the nations to have crews at the college to support youth as they're going to college and keep them engaged in scouting. And so it's very doable. Even as a member of the NVOA, I get to meet with people all across the nation. My advisor lives in Hawaii, so we have lots of meetings, and it's been super fun. And I've met so many great people because of it.
I just want
Michigan to Hawaii. Did you catch that, Aaron?
Yeah, I know.
Upper Peninsula.
Yes, very, very cool. I want to acknowledge real quick a comment from John, who asks what year venturing began. I actually know the answer to that question, Gina. It was 1998, John, is the first year venturing was formed. It was part of the BSA's exploring program, which goes back like decades, like long time ago. It was officially spun off into its own program called Venturing in 1998. Another trivia question for you guys. Gina, do you have any guess which one of our guests here, any guess which one of our guests are Eagle Scouts?
I know the answer, and the question was trick. What a trick? You said one.
It is a trick question. All four of our guests are Eagle Scouts. I think that's really cool. Jamie, maybe you could talk a little bit about that, the overlap between Scouts, BSA, and venturing. How does a venturer earn their Eagle Scout? Is that something you do at the same time? You do that totally separate? How does that work, Jamie?
Yeah, well, I'm very grateful that during my time in venturing, my crew was supportive of advancement. So I actually earned my Eagle Scout rank with a venturing crew. So on my certificate, it says Crew 73, which I'm pretty proud of. But once you earn first class in a troop, you're able to work on merit badges and other advancement in the venturing crew. And it actually, I think it enhances your scouting journey being in a venturing crew and working on advancement, because you now have double the opportunity to go out and do awesome stuff and serve in leadership roles and all kinds of things. So I think it made my journey to Eagle a little bit easier, even though I turned my paperwork in like on my 18th birthday. But I think it definitely helped me get there. My crew was very supportive along the journey, and it was a great experience getting Eagle with the crew.
So cool. I think that that's a cool trivia piece in itself. Like, yes, your journey to Eagle may need to start in Scouts BSA, but you could finish it in venturing, and you could be only in venturing at that point and complete your Eagle. I think that that's just wild and definitely a cool piece of Scout trivia. If you're creating any scouting trivia, be sure to add that to your Jeopardy board or whatever you're creating. I also think we need to highlight something, Aaron. This is not just like, obviously you guys are all officers, but it's not like, oh, just like four random venturers just plucked from oblivion. Like, you guys are very, very accomplished. We've established that you're all in college. You're all Eagle Scouts. You're all on NVOA. If you check out Aaron's blog post on these officers, you can see that they have an array of hobbies. Like, they do so much more than I've ever done in my whole life. Yeah.
maybe I'll just
Go
add
ahead.
real quick, at least a couple of them are involved in Order of the Arrow as well. So yeah, there's a lot of overlap, like you said, Gina. I just wanted to throw that out there. Very, very accomplished young folks that we're dealing with today. I'm sorry, go ahead, Gina.
You know what? Steve added a comment, and he looks like someone we can trust. He says all 6 NVOA officers are Eagle Scouts. Yeah.
Nice. I trust Steve.
I definitely trust Steve. So anyway, thank you guys for your service and for looking out for Scouts. You really are doing work on behalf of youth. So I know that we all certainly appreciate that. Hannah, I want to ask you the next question, which is a little bit about your specific officer role. You're VP of programming, right? So
Right.
what are you doing?
Oh, I'm so excited. I really hope that this question came up. One thing that is coming out actually really soon on Friday, we have a podcast, a venturing podcast that's coming out called Leading Our Adventures. The first episode is with Jacob and I, and then as the episodes continue every other week, they will include information and experiences from venturers all across the nation. And I'm so excited for people to get that and hear what's going on in the scouting community through another media kind of program wise.
Yeah, so everyone
Very,
mark your
very cool.
calendars. We know you're able to watch live videos. You can definitely catch the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys are doing a lot of cool stuff for venturing in particular, but also for scouting overall. Gina, you're not going to believe it. I have another bit of trivia about our guests here. One of our guests is involved in swing dancing, and I know who you are. They also participate in instrumental music programs. They tutor middle school band students and work in the dark room developing and printing film photographs. Jacob, I used to do that when I was your age. I didn't even know you could do that anymore. That's very, very cool. I'm a musician as well. No big deal. Jacob and I have a lot in common. Jacob, maybe you could sort of tell us all, what is it that you like about venturing? What is it that inspires you and kind of keeps you going and makes you want to volunteer and do so much?
Yeah, so venturing for me has really kept me going in scouting, and really is the reason why I have my Eagle and finish up with doing so much. So at about the age of 13-ish, I started getting kind of bored of the average scouting, just kind of keep chugging away on advancements. And I had the amazing opportunity to go on a combined trip between my troop and my crew to go to backpacking Glacier National Park, and it was amazing. I got to see moose. We got to go through so many waterfalls, all of the wonderful sights of Glacier. It was wonderful. And so from that, it's been so great to see all of the adventures that I've been able to go on and the places I would never get to see without venturing, but also the people I've gotten to meet. And then just the life skills that I've learned too, really because of the leadership positions that venturing has let me experience and given me a safe environment to fail and grow in. I've been able to, start a conversation with almost anyone, and that's helped me, both in scouting, but also in a more personal and professional way, with college and going to career fairs, but also starting a research position here at Michigan Tech and all sorts of other academic pursuits.
Wonderfully said. Yeah, I had skimmed Jacob's bit of a bio on the Aaron on Scouting post and thought, that's when I was like, we've got to say how accomplished these guys are. I also think Jacob hits on something. You guys obviously have servant attitudes. You are serving, venturing, but it's a good reminder for everybody to let scouting serve you too. Let it, guide your path and provide values for you and create connections. I think you guys are certainly working that and great examples of that. We have some wonderful comments and questions, and Hannah's provided some clarification. The podcast that we were mentioning a few minutes ago, that can be found on the Venturing Facebook and YouTube. There's also something else coming up that I think, Jamie, you can speak on. There is a training opportunity coming up. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah. So this summer at the Philmont Scout Ranch from July 14 to 20, there will be another older youth program. So when we say older youth programs, we're referring to venturing, sea scouting, and exploring. The leaders from that program, but also any venturers, any leaders, because we're all leaders in our own way. We're all going to be convening at the Philmont Scout Ranch. and talking about the future of the older youth programs, how we can improve our own leadership skills so that we can improve our units. And the focus is really increasing membership in the older youth programs. So we're super excited for it. The current officers of the Venturing program and the Sea Scout program will be facilitating that. We're looking forward to seeing everybody there at Philmont.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. As we said before, these 4 guests today are all college students. Just to reiterate, venturing goes up to, you can be considered a venture up to the age of 21, I think. Is that right, everybody? So that, obviously, at Scouts BSA, you age out at 18. Venturing is a great way to stay involved until you turn 21. So a few extra years there through those college years. And one of the notes that Andrea wrote for us as we were preparing for the show is that venturing can actually help improve other scouting units. Hannah, maybe you could talk about that a little bit. How does venturing help improve other scouting units out there?
Definitely. I would love to answer that question. So ventures can do a lot of things for your chartered org or all of the units combined that you have. One of the ways is if a youth is involved in a older youth program, venturing or Sea Scouts or exploring, they're more likely to stay in the troop to help support the younger scouts as they're crossing over from Cub Scouts. Another thing that ventures can do is ventures can be den chiefs in the realm of your pack and your dens and your patrols to help the even younger scouts through the program. It also helps with retention if someone is not vibing with the Scouts BSA program and wants kind of a change of pace. That's another opportunity that the venturing program has. But you can be registered in both and go to the venturing meetings and go to your Scouts BSA meetings and get a different taste, a different adventure at both places you go.
Yeah, I think it can really add a dimension to your scouting experience, especially if you've been in scouting for a while and you're looking for something just a little bit different finally, then you add that in. And also I think we have to emphasize, you really just have to be old enough for venturing. This is not a program you graduate into. You don't have to be involved in scouting at all, but you want to do some outdoor things. Well, venturing would be great. And different venturing crews have different focuses. So definitely check out Be a Scout, put in your zip code, see what those venturing crews look like. Guys, I need your help, all of your help, with one quick thing. It's actually Aaron's birthday. So I wanted to surprise him and just I'll tell him happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Aaron.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate
He just
it. Yes,
aged out of venturing.
I'm now officially now too old to be a venture, but I'm still involved in the program thanks to young folks like you. And Jamie, you gave a shout out to the other older youth programs. I appreciate you guys saying that. One of the things that I really like about the venturing program is, like Gina said, you can do it as an alternative to Scouts BSA, or you can do it with Scouts BSA. You can be in both at the same time. It's really something for everybody. Jacob said maybe he wanted to try something a little bit different, so he moved over from Scouts BSA to venturing. But some folks do them both and thrive doing both of them. There are so many different options out there. That's really, really cool. Jamie, is there anything else that we've missed that we need to make sure we let our folks know about venturing before we let you guys go?
Well, I think one final thought, venturing really is an exceptional retention tool for your units and for your councils. I think everybody can benefit from this program. It's so marketable. I know everyone here can speak wonders for what it's done for all of us and for our units, but I think there might be one more, maybe an announcement from one of the vice presidents, but we're glad to talk to you all today about the venturing program. I think there's one other thing though.
Someone take it away. What's the other thing?
Maybe not. We discussed the podcasts that were coming out. I think that was what we were going to talk about. But
just a reminder that our podcasts are going to be launching this Friday on both Facebook and YouTube. So tune into that, and then they'll be continuing every 2 weeks after that on both of those platforms.
One other just absolutely brilliant thought I had but forgot to say, just kidding, is if you have youth, maybe they've been in the scouting program, maybe they never have, but you've been trying to see if they might be interested in scouting, maybe you have a scouting background, I think venturing might be the answer for them if they're saying scouting's not for me. I'm just not interested. I really think venturing could be the program that fits. Hannah, you want to say something?
Yes. I have so many friends that went to were my peers and are still my peers because of venturing. I was having so much fun, and they were like, "Oh man, I'm 14, I'm 15, I'm 16. I don't want to go join Scouts BSA, even though it sounds like a great program. I feel too late." But they came and joined my venturing crew, and they'd never camped before. My venturing crew is a high adventure crew, and the first trip that they went on, it was like 5 degrees, and we taught them how to stay warm, and then we went and did all these amazing high adventure activities. It was so much fun, and they have developed so much and are now applying for college as we speak.
There you go. There's the proof.
That is awesome. And I want to reiterate something else Hannah said. Hannah, you kind of blew my mind. The idea of a venture as a den chief. I used to be a Cub Master, and I got a lot of good use out of a den chief who was a member of Scouts BSA way back then. When I think about that 5 years ago, that's a brilliant idea. You guys have been really, really awesome. This has been a great conversation. And for those of you watching at home, if you think this is the last you've seen of these folks, I've got a news for you. We're going to have them on again. Definitely our idea is to kind of have them on a recurring basis to remind everybody that the venturing program is out there and to keep everybody posted and updated on changes with these 4 folks and their other 2. You should note that there are a couple other members of the National VOA that aren't on with us today. Maybe we'll have them on next time. We can rotate them out. All 6 of them are doing great work. I can tell you guys, and I'm being serious when I say this, I exchange emails with a lot of adult leaders, a lot of scouts over my time. Very, very few of them have ever been as organized and as focused as you all are. It's been an honor to meet you. It's been an honor to have you on today. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I want to remind everybody, you can always go back and watch this show again later. If you miss something, you can always tag in a friend in the comments to remind them that venturing exists. Otherwise, thank you all for watching today. We appreciate it very, very much. Thanks again to our youth for joining us today. Good day, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching.